Welcome to part 2 of the Bird's Eye Maple Bowl turn, or saga if you wish. When I left the video last time, I was saturating the inclusions and cracks etc. with thin CA, but it needed a lot more work than I'd originally thought. So I've had a few comments asking to go through the process that I've used on this particular bowl, which I will do. So without further ado, I'll go over to the lathe. I'll change the camera angle now and we'll go through the process and see what happens. Okay, so the bowl is now back on the lathe again, and as you may recall if you watched the first part, I didn't remove the bowl from the jaws, I just removed the chuck from the lathe so that everything was in the same place when I remounted it for finished turning. Now, as I explained, the inclusions, this one and this one especially, were very soft. This one wasn't too solid either. So what would normally happen is you would turn your bowl away, and whatever flew off you would repair after all the inside mass had been removed, and you may be left with holes, which I don't mind. I mean, I like an inclusion that you can see through, that's not a problem. But on this case I just wanted to try and keep it solid. So the only way I could think of doing it was to drizzle thin CA glue in these major problem areas, let them dry to make sure it was really dry inside, drizzle some more on, and then I progressed to medium CA glue, and in some instances where the voids were really quite large I put thick CA glue in. Now admittedly a lot of this is going to be turned away, if not most of it, but I don't know what's further down. So this particular one doesn't seem to come through on the other side, so that will most probably be okay. This one, however, there are several inclusions on the start of inclusions on the other side, so this could very well be right the way through. So it might fly off, the whole thing might explode, I don't know. But I'm giving as much chance as I possibly can. Okay, the situation is that it hasn't seeped down as deep as I would have liked. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see this piece here is very soft. I'm going to turn it away and just hope it stays together. I think that's the only course of action. So what I'm going to do now is a couple of passes with my 3/8 bowl gouge, which I freshly sharpened on my fine wheel, and then it'll be down to sanding. There's a little bit of tear out here and there, which you'd expect, but we're nearly there. shape. It's nice and even. A couple of tiny little ripples here, but I'll get rid of that with the sanding, and then it'll be time to put a finish on it. And then, as I explained, over a few days, 3 or 4 days, I'll just keep applying the Danish oil until it's complete. Okay, I'll come back when I've done this. Now sanded up, power sanded up to 600 grit, and I'm really pleased with the finish. It is really smooth where there aren't any inclusions, obviously. There was a fair bit of sanding involved because very difficult to get a really smooth finish off the tool because of the inclusions and the different densities of the wood. But all in all, I'm really pleased with it. I'm going to leave it, as I say, completely natural. There are a couple of areas which I could fill in, but I'm resisting. And this little chappy here, if you can see it there, that goes right through to the outside, a little crack in that inclusion. Not worried about that. It's completely natural. Bird's eye maple bowl. It's 11.5 inches across and 3 inches deep, and I'm very pleased with how it came out. It wasn't an easy journey, but we got there in the end. And just to recap, I finished with 4 coats of Danish oil and allowing them a minimum of 12 hours in between each application. And then after a further 24 hours I gave a light film of microcrystalline wax, allowed that to dry for about 40-50 minutes and then buffed it out, and it's given it a nice luster. Very pleased with it. I can't thank you enough, Mark. That's Martin Saban-Smith's uncle from down in Four Marks in Hampshire. I really appreciate it, and I think it's turned out really well. Not the turning, but the wood itself. Well, thanks very much for staying with me. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers now.